Alright, let's see if this is working. Hello to the chat. I should be streaming this time. I hope. Yes! Live. Excellent. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I was trying to make my phone work yet again, and it seems like, yeah, the program didn't want to cooperate. So, camera's going to be shitty again this week. I apologize. So, hi, I'm Ben from Second Dynasty. This is episode 51 of our weekly live stream where we update about all the stuff that we've been doing. This is going to be a bit crazy. Maybe not as crazy as the last two sessions. Obviously I had some camera trouble last week as well, and I forgot to hit the live part of the live streaming button, and now I've probably got a few camera issues, like this doesn't look like it's focusing particularly well. It is what it is. Close up is going to be very blurry. Does it autofocus at all? Okay, here we go. So hi everyone, how you doing? Hello to the chat. Let's see who we've got. We've got Shergol, we've got Patrick Ull, we've got Custom Blink, hey! We've got Solo Spirit Dalton is here from the wilds of Canada. We've got Brian Rombau, we've got Derivative Content, which never ever feels like a call out to me. We've got Tamsin, and we've got Shadowlager. Yeah, nice to see you all in the chat. Hopefully there'll be some other people streaming in. Crazy, crazy, crazy time. So, our plan was to get ready for Christmas, because we do celebrate it here. And it is a bunch of different national holidays related to it. And the week of Christmas, I think there's like 3 red days in a row. Red days being public holidays. So it's just Monday and Friday next week, I think, and that's it. So my plan is to have a stream. Hey Alex, how you doing? But yeah, the other plan that we had for today, and it may or may not have happened, is that the 5th Frontier War stuff was supposed to release. Now, I don't know if everything's been properly assigned yet. We haven't sent out redemption emails. But if you have a My Manufacturer account and filled out your survey, maybe it's in your library. I haven't had the time to go over it all. I'm going to have to do that after the stream. But I thought today could be just a little bit of a hangout for Chrissy, hence the whack name for the stream being the... I think it was a great name for the stream. What do we come up with? Yes, the Happy Season Space-Xmas Greeting Show. Because there's a whole bunch of nonsense, and apparently, though, you get a lot more influence and power if you own SpaceX of a kind. So I thought I would monopolize Space-Xmas. Maybe it works. I don't know. Hey Clive, welcome. We're not panicking today. Not much, anyway. 3, are those including Boxing Day and New Year's Day or something? Brian, in a lot of Europe, especially continental Europe, or at least Northern Europe, I want to say, Christmas is actually celebrated on Christmas Eve. So that would be Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Boxing Day. So, yeah. That's why. So we're celebrating Christmas on the 24th, which is really interesting, with many different traditions. Although I have to say, I don't think we're going to get a fall of snow this year, it certainly feels a lot more like it's supposed to be weather-wise than it does in 40-degree Australian Christmases. So I don't know. Santa Claus looks a little bit more legitimate, you know, decked out for winter than he does in shorts and thongs. That being the Australian thongs, which is our word for flip-flops, because you know the word thong is actually related to the thong of leather that goes between your toes, You dirty, dirty-minded Americans. Anyway, moving on. What are we looking at here? Sorry, this is going to be a silly session. And I'm going to make it even sillier in a minute. Because I think I've made some promises, so I'm just going to have to go with that. What are we looking at? I have teased this on our Discord. And it's a bit upside down. But this is a new Expanse style ship. In fact, there's 2 that we're working on. This is very unfinished in the antenna department. Really, it's just a mock-up for renders and concepts. So this is what I'm going to maybe call the Valkyria shuttle. Because the Valkyries shuttled the dead, the slain, to, you know, the Hall of Valhalla. Actually, that's a redundant word. The Hall of Valhalla. I mean, it's built into the word Valhalla. But still, it's kind of like saying the ATM machine, the automatic teller machine. So anyway, yes, they, in a sense, they shuttle the dead to Asgard, right? So, and then the other one, working title, Nidhogg, which is, I guess, a more English version of Nidhogg, I guess it is, which is a dragon that gnaws upon the roots of the great ash tree Yggdrasil, and also drinks blood or some such. It is a dragon, but in the Norse sense, so it's more like a serpent than maybe a traditional winged dragon. In any case, and this would be going alongside the, let's see, conversion. Which version do we want? Yeah, let's do the naughty. Let's see, I want that, not that one, and let's reactivate this. So I have shown this off before, but not the new concepts. We're going to work on that today. Let me just put the railgun on, the top PDCs, the torpedo tubes, and the single engine. There we go. So, we are trying out some new crowdfunding next year. Yeah, this one looks like it's redundant. And as a part of that, we're going to put out a revised version of Sleipnir using Gridforge, which significantly expands the playable interior of the ship. You can see it, all the shaders have been updated. I've also updated quite a few problem areas, particularly, actually let's turn off the big engine version here with the naughty. When I say naughty, like the project name we started with Sleipnir was Notanante. I can't imagine what ship that is based on. But a lot of people have complained that, you know, some of these floor tiles in particular have had, you know, the walls have been too thin, or rather the floor has been too thin, so that's been thickened up. Like a lot of the areas that I know there are issues with, I've gone back and addressed. The main ladder well inside now has multi-part assemblies, so you can, you know, let's try and get inside the ship. So it has these sort of more functional sliding airlock doors, right? And it's multi-part, so it has, like, the floor is separate, you plug it in. I have shown this off on past streams, but yes, I wanted to show off the concept. So these are the 2 new ships that will be alongside. This had a significantly more Sleipnir-like nose to begin with, and then someone said, like, oh, I really, really want a Morrigan-style front, and I was like, no, triangles don't work well with Gridforge or open lock, especially not ones that have 60-degree angles. And then I ended up doing one anyway, and it came out really cool, I feel. So I'm still working on this. You can see there's some floors missing. There's no real interiors mapped out yet. But this thing at the front with the doors. Hey, where did the doors all go? Oh, I know. It is actually. Let's isolate this thing a little bit so that we're just looking at some. We're just looking at the concept, the new concept. So many layers to turn off. Albin, we are having a Christmas party tonight. I would like to celebrate with the stream. Could you please go get me a Lagunitas?
Oh.
Yes. And open it, because I can't open it. I forgot to get a drink, so, you know, I'm going to celebrate. You can all enjoy the pre-starter to our Christmas party. Because, you know, it's after 3 p.m. I am Australian. That qualifies for pub time on a Friday. It is a Friday, and it is a Christmas party Friday. So, there. Logic and reason. I'll limit myself to one beer on the stream, but still. The rule of cool is a thing. It is indeed. So this is shorter than the Sleipnir, as you will have seen. And the very front, I don't suppose anyone looked in there and saw whether or not they did have access to the 5th Frontier War files. My thinking with this thing, how would I turn off the background so it's not... There we go, there's a bit more contrast now. So, I know the black tiles make it a little hard to see. I kind of had like, you know those little black, I want to say goldfish, obviously they're not goldfish, but the kind of fish you would buy in a goldfish bowl. The little black ones that have got that little belly out the front. Often the belly, I think, is due to them eating too many rocks or something, so they're usually not a healthy fish. Yeah?
He orders a beer, una cerveza.
Una cerveza. Cerveza. Let down. My Spanish is way worse than my Swedish. Let's see. Yes. Cheers and Merry Christmas. I'm drinking a Lagunitas. American IPA.
Does that mean lady or something?
I don't know.
As long as it tastes good.
It's like Rocinante. It's a lady that Amos met once, and it's also the trustworthy donkey steed of Don Quixote. Alright, anyway. I was trying to go over this design. So we've got this sort of like triangular front that is reminiscent of the Morrigan. I really like this top-down profile, especially when you get some shiny renders on that. And actually we could take a very quick look. Need to get out of expert mode because I'm not that much. Say I'm not a great expert if I just open the hypershade instead of the render window. But what you can actually do with this is open existing images, and I recently made some renders. Why is my project completely wrong though? Let's see, Starship 5, File, Open Image. Okay, that's interesting. It uses the regular image browser for opening images. So we'll go into Starship 5. Here we go. Here's one. So I feel, wow, that is wrong. What is going on there? Let's instead use this one. The EXR should be better. Yes, much more manageable. There you go, and we can get rid of the previews. And I don't want to see that. No, I do. I just don't want to see. Well, oh, I keep taking snapshots. Stop it. There we go. So yeah, it looks really cool when rendered from top down, I feel. I mean, you guys are free to have your own opinions, of course. But what do we think so far, chat? Fifth Frontier War just turned up in your library. Great Tamsin. So I don't know if it's everything. We need to double check the files. There's a reason why we haven't mailed them out. Yeah, so there you go. Alright. Hey Doug, you're not running that late. So, let's get some more looks at this thing. Actually, wasn't it you, Doug? No, it wasn't Doug, was it? The one that knows. It was someone. Anyway. So the other thing about this is, I was thinking, okay, this will probably be the default shape, but just like the Sleipnir, we'll do some alternative files so you can have different configurations. And there are some useful tiles here that you would be able to use alongside a Sleipnir, for example, although some of the whole parts are different. So I would want to, for example, make it so that you could use this engine block instead of the Sleipnir one, or vice versa. But this thing is a little bit narrower in places, particularly down here at the, I guess you might call it a waist, although it's very top heavy. But this section here, is this the main airlock? No, it's not. This is. Because the back one here is actually what I'm calling the pouch. Yeah, that is very much a working title. It's definitely not going to be the last one. But I was thinking this section of the ship is actually an attachment. And the reason for that being that we could have variants of this section that is, okay, some that are cargo, some that might have some other purposes, but the main one I was thinking of is a landing craft that detaches. So this would be a, should we say Mercurian rather than Martian patrol vessel. So you've just got the sort of like 2 PDC standard, you've got 1 torpedo launch tube, and then you have, wow, what's going on with that? It looked kind of like an arrow, but it didn't quite work out. Like you've said before, I'm a fan of tail-seater ships, though I enjoy space boats too. Yeah, well, it's been a long time since we've done a tail-seater, and we know that the Sleipnir sold the best of any of our ships this year, so why not? Big whale shark looking ship. That's good. I like that. Impy Marine, Zoes, Flashpoint, Air Support, Zoe Vehicles, and Impy Tanks. Yeah, but I'm not sure there are actually zip files assigned to everything yet. Like, I know Albin is still working on the Zidani APC, because it's a bit of a swear word to work on. So we were dealing with an autosave there. So I was thinking, like, I've been rewatching The Expanse, obviously, as well. So I'm thinking this thing in itself could be like, you know, the boarding vessel style thing. If you're thinking about Bobby Draper or something, where her team's sort of like got that squat, squarish landing style ship. So we could do something like that that actually attaches. I know you guys always like, you know, one ship that can detach a shuttle or a fighter or something. So that's some of the options. And of course, then the other thing too is, this would actually make it compatible if you wanted to put more torpedo tubes on the opposite side, so you can always use more guns, right? I know I can. Don't know if I'm going to have a double airlock there or not. It's more a case of I just needed some tiles in place to show what's going on. So this is kind of what I've been working on, aside from yesterday, where I finished up the, actually we can open another Maya and hope for the best. And we can look at the, I know one of the files that definitely is up for the Fifth Frontier War is the Irkidar light tank. I don't know, it has the name kind of reminds me of Dune for some reason, but not like Dune the book, like, it sounds like something that would be in like the Dune 2 RTS game from the 90s. Let's see, let's go into our Traveller 5 project and we'll open the, didn't I rename this? Imperial light tank, I guess, would be the one. So this is it. Looking all fancy. So it's fully printable and test. Oh, Alvin, did you assemble this tank?
No.
I think it's on the printer.
Oh.
Would you mind grabbing the parts for me?
Sure.
And a couple of. I might need some. I think one or two open. No, actually, no. There should be enough open lock clips on the thing. So, yeah, we actually have this thing ready to go. Be interesting to see if it all connects together. So this was like a 1 day to finish design, and I was a bit worried about it because I felt like it was a bit simplistic. But we'll soon find out if it needs some additional refinement. June 2, just when we thought it was safe to go back in the desert. Oh, Shai Halud, we'll get ya. Oh, I'm getting it in sections.
Oh.
Now, the question is, who's going to break apart first, me or Albin? Let me. Actually, I'll assemble this thing off screen because I don't want to move the camera around. I really wish the phone thing would just work every time, but sadly, it does not. I think it would more reliably if we were on the same network, but the thing is, my computer doesn't have Wi-Fi. We use, obviously, the far superior network cables. You know, we have a fast connection, why would we waste it? So, the one thing I've done here, though, is I've printed with lightning, so there is a slight chance I accidentally push things through. It's a good system.
Forgot the barrel.
Oh, that barrel. Okay.
The tiny one.
I like it. But the barrel is here. It's a barrel of laughs. Oh, God. Where is the cheese? Bring the cheese. The wired fire. Yes. I was going to say, someone has to start with the dad jokes. It's really appropriate, too, because I feel like if there is a time of year for dad jokes, aside from Father's Day, I guess, it would be Christmas. Hey, isn't there a peg missing too, Alvin? There should have been like a...
Oh yeah, for the turret.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any.
I mean, I know I printed it. It must have fallen off.
Oh. Didn't see it.
I could have misprinted too, I don't know. I've got one here anyway. So, what I'm talking about is these tiny pegs. That probably didn't look right. Every day is the right day for a dad joke. Yeah, fair enough. You don't even have to be a dad. Alright, maybe I should actually add that barrel first. So, sorry I'm doing this all off screen. It would be optimal to do it otherwise on screen to show that we actually can, you know, make things that work. But I kind of feel like we have an existing track record. Alrighty. Let's see if this will fit. I might need to just get... There's a bit of a foot on this thing that I need to get rid of. I don't think I can cut up my fingers any worse than I did last Friday. Let's see. That is a tight fit. I might need pliers to get that in. So... Yep, nope. Let me show you guys what just happened. So, I snapped off the turret, but like I pushed the front of the turret down and it looks like the periscope stayed in there. I'm sorry about that disgusting, let me use my other hand so you're not seeing all that. The cut up fingers. So the periscope stayed up. I'm gonna leave it like that. It was a bit silly. And there we go. And then the final part is the turret. Yeah. Oh wow, it actually fits. Kind of. The turret. This other turret becomes a bit of an issue. The periscope is in the way. Yeah, I guess we need to address that. I don't think it's a design. It like it broke. The barrel broke by splitting vertically, right where the periscope is. So the periscope is sticking out more than it should be. I think it looks alright. So yeah, maybe we should be printing all the prototypes with the. Yeah, I think actually, to be honest, I did not like these tanks when I saw the illustrations for them. I think they come out quite nicely in 3D.
I'm wondering if that might be the Stockholm syndrome that you're feeling.
Let's move on. Let's move on. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't sound very Swedish.
No.
Stockholm syndrome. I wonder why it's called that. I'm kidding. We know. That's just what happens. You visit Stockholm and for some reason you start thinking, hey, I like this place. But it's just Stockholm syndrome. That's not true. It's a lovely place. Filled with horrible people. No, I'm kidding. Or am I? No, it is. I'd strongly recommend visiting Stockholm in a warmer month. And in particular, if you're a history buff, go and visit the Vasa Museum, because that's kind of crazy. Really shittily built boat. When I say shittily built, it was a piece of art, but it was a case of, form over function. It was meant to be the flagship of the Swedish fleet in the, I want to say 1500s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the oldest existing ship, I want to say, something like that. Or wreck that's in one piece, because apparently the Baltic Sea doesn't have high salt contents and it's very cold and it preserves the wood. In any case, really cool, complete, I guess, galleon-style flagship of the Swedish Navy, which on its maiden voyage didn't make it out of Stockholm Harbour. The wind picked up, there was not enough ballast. Actually, it's very sad because none of the sailors could actually swim, so I'll just drink some more beer and we'll move on. So yeah, if this is washed out today, it's because I've actually upped the gamma quite significantly, or rather the exposure in the scene, so the scene is set up for rendering. There you go. 1628. It was launched and sunk in 1628.
Oh.
Still, 400-year-old ship. Pretty impressive. Yeah, and intact. So it is tragically hilarious. Yes, I agree. Custom blink. In fact, it launched. You blink and you missed it because it was gone. The gun ports were also too close to the waterline. Yeah, I guess so. That is a bit of an issue. But oh well, I'm sure I'm sure there was some engineer going, "This won't work," and no one's listening to them. Usually that's the story, isn't it? That there's a poor lone engineer trying to say this won't work. Anyway, what should we work on today? Well, let's start here. This should be orange, clearly. Let's make it orange. I need to clean up this scene again, but I don't know if I'm finished importing stuff at the moment. Like, you might notice some familiar designs here, like these antenna I've imported from Typhon. I'll probably cut it up. It's mostly to have stuff to cut up, but this is mostly for concepting. So the finished ship, like, I am going to get started on it, but if we want to have a campaign in, say, late February, actually what we might do is, like, my manufacturer basically said we can't do a dedicated Second Dynasty Day next year, so what we might do is launch the backer kit on that day instead. And so we do a Second Dynasty Day anyway, but not focus it on a sale, which is a shame because usually we make some good mint. Actually, speaking of sales, we have a sale on at the moment. Because the winter sale goes live today. I think it's already live, if I'm not mistaken. I think a cursory visit to myminifactory.com should let me know that.
Cursory? What does that mean?
Don't ask me to you sound like my wife. I know what it means. I understand the context, but I can't define it. Now live, new store, the best discounts on resin and filament. That's what? Yeah, winter sale is on. Wow, they made that really small. Anyway, 40% off. It's not quite the Black Friday sales that we had, but yeah, if you want to get anything on the store, and that includes bundles, we now have bundles where, for example, if you picked up the Sleipnir, for example, and you want to pick up all the Kickstarter modifications for that, we have a new bundle package for that, which has a base 22% discount, and then you apply the 40% on top of that, so you get more than 50% off. So yeah, we're still trying to figure out all the bundles and how stingy we need to be. Or not be, but right now we're being generous. But also I appreciate that right now most people are probably already emptying their wallets on other things, so do not feel pressured. Let's see. Oh, those side RCAs are different. Yes, the RCS or RCAs. I think what's RCA? Reaction Control Assist or something. RCS is Reaction Control System, right? I'm sure there's another word, and I think they're just synonymous. But yeah, there's a new little cluster. I wanted to make it so it fits both this shorter edge and also this shorter edge. So there's these nice little clusters. It's not quite finished, but some nice new variations. I actually have a number of different ones I might end up doing. I think maybe it'll end up being a stretch goal, but if we open the sort of workshop section, you can kind of see some of the ones I've been sort of working on. So this is another completed version, and I really like this little guy. You can see the thrusters are oriented vertically instead of horizontally, I guess in relation to the thrusters themselves. And then of course this would also maintain compatibility, they both do, with not only the Sleipnir line of ships. I feel Custom Blink like there is another abbreviation other than RCS that is the same thing, so I don't know that that is wrong. But in other words, for those that might not be familiar with starships, it could be Reaction Control Assembly, Doug. It could be. But for anyone that's wondering what I'm talking about, it's like if you see a real spaceship in zero gravity, those little thrusters that help them maneuver, that's the reaction control system. So essentially a way to orient the ship the correct direction that you need. So you kind of have to have some thrust and counter thrust to sort of turn the ship, and then you would have your main engines, of which we have many on this thing. We have many thrusters. Commodore Lassard. Anyway, let me ditch the workshop so we've got a nice clean scene again. I don't know exactly where we're going to place everything, but if we look inside, you can kind of see the floor space. So the default floor sadly has gone down to, wow, what is that? Okay, we've got some doubling ups. Need to fix this. and we'll fix this as well. So it's all fancy. So originally, I might do a version where, you know, that little box section is integrated with the hull. I don't know yet if I want to have it fully open, because I did intend this to be larger than a Sleipnir. And one of the reasons why I wanted it that way is just to have more room to do things on the ship. Like, even if I get down to where this airlock is, you can kind of see how much... Ooh, can you? I guess you can't. It takes up quite a lot of space. Let me, maybe I'll get this into wireframe so you can kind of... It's hard to make out. Let's go for a X-ray shading so you can kind of see in here. We haven't put the floor tiles down, but this would make it actually smaller than the Sleipnir. And we don't even have the ladder well in at the moment. So I might also see about doing a smaller solution for ladder wells than we had in the Sleipnir. Police Academy, oh yes, a throwback indeed. Very silly films, especially outdated, but you know, I grew up with it. I have a soft spot for it. So if we add back the pouch, we actually get another 2.5 inches of size. I was about to say girth, but that doesn't sound very PC. So yeah, there'll just be something more to do in this section. It will feel like a larger ship, it's just you have these doorways in between. But I don't think that's necessarily bad separation, like you can just have like a corridor. Yeah, we'll see how things go, but I think one of the tricks is going to be ensuring that you know, the ladder system maybe doesn't take up quite as much room. Like, it might be cool to do like one of these corners instead, because at present, let's be honest, it's not a place you really want to put a miniature anyway, right? I love it how Doug Jeffries just says girth. Obviously it's a spelling correction, but it sounds like you're just saying girth. Alright. Brian says, happy holidays everyone. Indeed. We in particular celebrate Yule, which is basically the same equivalent as saying Yule in English, which is the old version of Christmas. That being the fact that the Catholic Church is the Borg of religions, rather than just saying, no, you will do the stuff that we want to do. Instead, they're like, no, we will assimilate and make your traditions our own, which is why, you know, we eat ham on Christmas, which is, if you think about it, something that Jesus would never have done, being Jewish. But yeah, there was an old tradition, aside from, well, Yule is the midwinter solstice celebration, but it also coincides with, I think it's Freysblut, or sacrifice or offering, I guess would be the translation for that. And that involved, you know, slaughtering a pig and eating said pig. So one of the funny things about Vikings, when they were making sacrifices to the gods, they were very much like, we make this sacrifice in your honor, and now, since you're not here, I'll eat it for you. Presumably they didn't do that with, you know, sacrifice slaves, but actually they didn't sacrifice slaves, did they? It was volunteers. Anyway, they might have just said that. We don't know for sure, but people believe different things. So this is what it looks like so far. It kind of looks, actually, when you zoom out, I haven't really thought of that. The X-ray looks really cool. I kind of want to see what the Notanante looks like in this. Single engine. Let's get the rail gun out. We need the side rack. No, not the side racks. We need the bridge one nose And all of these down to cargo deck. 8. Wow. Kind of hard to make out still because of like the walls, but I really love this ship, to be honest. I think it's really cool. I'm proud of it. I think it's going to be even better now. And I thought the pouch was a very large dual laser package. It could be. That might be one variant. It might be. You mean these round circle things? They could be laser lenses. That's a good point. Let's switch back to regular viewing. So you mean, imagine if these were lenses. I don't hate it. I have to be honest. I don't hate that idea. And it's just like such a large scale weapon that it takes up multiple floors or something. That's kind of cool. Alright, that's going to be officially a thing, custom blink. I think. The pouch will be reactors and capacitors. Yeah. I like it. And it's like, you know, I've come back to this multiple times. One of my favorite animes, obviously, series-wise, Macross is my favorite. Particularly the movie version from '84. But high up on that list, maybe I'd put Yamato above it, but Gunbuster. And they had these awesome laser lens arrays. And yeah, just like you could see on the whale sharks with freaking lasers on their bellies. I like it. We can make it happen. Wow, it's amazing how thirsty you get when you start drinking beer. So yes, Lagunitas from California. It's ironic that it's a India Pale Ale from California. .2%. Let's get silly. Drinking beer is thirsty work. Indeed, it is. So, anyway, it looks like we have soft launched the Fifth Frontier War. And I mean, guys, I don't want to make up excuses, but the last couple of weeks have been insane. And if I'm being honest too, poor John has got, I don't know if it's just a regular cold or influenza, but he was like bedridden. Oh wow. Like, I don't know, that 9 to 11% in the beer, man, you're just tasting more alcohol than beer. I don't know. Just, something about it tinkles the old, I don't know, it awakens those channels to, you know, when you're a young man, I won't specify ages or anything, and you might have got a bit heavy with your friends on a certain kind of booze, and you might have been, you know, to the point that you're on the border between they should send you to hospital or not. But you can never sniff that stuff again. Like, Southern Comfort was the thing for me. I honestly, just one sniff, and I feel like I need to vomit. It's like a Pavlov's dog, sort of Pavlovian, I guess is what you say, response to it. Oh, Shadowlegger's got a long list. Oh wait, no, they're Belgian triples. Sorry. I thought for a second you were saying those are the things that make you ill. Are we going to make it go Traveller small craft? You mean like the double small craft? See, I don't know how Mongoose feels about our style of small craft. This is the issue. Yeah, that there is a design. Albin is in the background here going like, what? Double? No, there is a design where they basically take two small craft hulls and weld them together. So it kind of looks like a poor man's Empress Mavara or whatever it's... the Far Trader design. See, and the funny thing is, like, I said to them, like, if I wanted to do another large ship, I'd like to do the Far Trader. but I'd prefer to do it older style. And they're like, no, 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 no. We want you to do it like our style or something that's newish. And then I've seen other art in their products that show the exact kind of style that I want to use. So it's like, well, really? I don't think. See, the issue is, I think they would like to choose which ship we would make, but I can't. I can't do it. Honestly, to be perfectly honest, the Fifth Frontier War, that's a sweet spot for us. I would say we can safely say we have turned a profit on it. The other ships just take too long to make. Like here I've got full creative freedom. Like this is a design I've whipped up and I've changed it in the last couple of days. You can probably see on our Discord some of the changes that I've made. But all of a sudden if I'm trying to work to a traveler plan, like the Safari ship, it's a nice-ish ship, but like the traveler ships always fall apart when the hulls don't match the deck plans, and I'd be quite concerned that that would be an issue with the Safari ship, because I'm quite sure it doesn't have enough girth. If we're going back to the old girth word that we were using before, feels like we're losing viewers over that thing. We're not really doing too much at the moment. Oh, why don't we take a little bit of a closer look up at the Valkyr or Valkyria. I don't know what we're going to call it just yet exactly. It's just an idea. So the inspiration for this thing was the Knight from the early episodes of The Expanse. Although obviously these aren't, you know, I'm using the design language of The Expanse.
How many percent was the beer, did you say?
Sorry?
How many percent was the beer, did you say?
Java, 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 Java. No, it's only 6.2. Yeah. Hashtag not a drop pod. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the other thing. This thing kind of looks like it's I guess because it's angular, anything that's angular we automatically call stealth, right? It's a stealth drop pod. No, but like similar in size to the Knight, where basically you would have your cockpit area up here, and then you just drop down into an airlock, and I guess they would have a reactor as well. We've got 4 engines instead of 3, again because I was quite sure that I didn't want to do triangles, but hey, it's triangular-ish. And of course the other benefit too is technically this thing, let me show you something.
Let me show you its features.
You could put it on top here. Like there is a slight overhang, but you could use it on your Notanante if you would prefer this. And I think since the overhang is over the airlock, you're actually quite fine with that. That's not too much of an issue. So yeah, you'd have less space on the top. Smaller bridge, but they should be compatible. The Harrier's 300 D-tons. You know, the Harrier 300 D-tons wouldn't be so bad, but
here we go again.
Well, I mean, knowing the Beowulf is 300 plus. Our Beowulf. The thing is, though, when you get to those, I'm not entirely sure. You mean the March Harrier, right? I'm going to try and find it, because I always find, like, March Harrier, and then I keep getting Marsh Harrier instead. No! Stop showing me bird, show me Traveller. That can't be it. This looks like it's showing like that can't be it. The March Harrier, it looks like a 400-ton ship. Like one of those
Are they trying to fool you?
You know, this is way too big. Or is it the instead version? I don't know. I need a link, traveler experts, because I am traveler dumb. I have a passing knowledge, which is ironic.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
So crazy.
Makes you go, toot!
Anyway, the March Harrier was the subsidized merchant. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Aren't they 400 ton? Or was there like the Drenaxian Harrier? Okay, so maybe I should look up that. How about a Harrier jump jet? That's got to be what, like 18 tons? Let's see. Drenaxian Harrier. Well, that looks cool-ish. So that would be this guy, I guess. Let me see if I can get it to the right window. So this one looks kind of cool, at least in that angle. I guess we've got this as well. Can we widen that? I don't know. I think is my face in the way? I mean, my face is always in the way. You worked on the Harrier 2? Nice. The Harrier 2B, is that like the twin cockpit version? Probably only a couple of D-tons of volume. Well, I mean, how do you count it? Is it the space it takes up in your cargo hold? Or is it, the volume overall? This is something that's been a challenge for me. Because I think technically it should be the space it takes up in your cargo hold. And when you got wings and things, sorry, you've got, like, if you look at the D tonnage of the Tlatl, it looks a lot bigger than the Rampart. The March Harriers, yeah. But someone was saying Harrier, and they might have meant the Drenaxian one. I assume that's what they meant. Because it's a campaign, right? So I guess this is the deck plan. It's all neck. Wow, that is low quality. All of these images are. See, someone's got it on Thingiverse already. There you go. See, it's okay. Just like, it's okay, but it's not super practical on the table. Like, how do you put the landing gear on this thing? It's gonna like need to have like 2 or 3 inches of clearance for those wings, right? You're gonna have to have some seriously mad wings. Unless like, yeah, I don't know. Do they fold up for landing? I want to hope so, but that's also not a mechanic that I want to fix. Although this image, like, I understand my face is probably on top of it. It kind of reminds me of like a bird of prey. And maybe that's deliberate with it being green. So in that sense, wait, is that what the inspiration is for this thing? It has to be, right? Now I can't unsee it. Like, that's fairly close. Obviously without the detailing. All neck. Except for the upstairs. Yeah, that's kind of nuts. Impractical for landing, but isn't made for operating in atmosphere. Why the wings? I mean, the thing is swept forward and downward, I guess it is. The thing is, it looks cool. And yes, the wings do fold up on this thing. See Star Trek 4. Which is kind of cool. But, that means including a lot of mechanisms in the wings to make them functional. You still need to have some kind of landing gear. Just like here, you can kind of see something underneath, but it's not entirely... God, Discovery had such shitty Klingon designs. Why can't someone just make Star Trek again? Like, as it was intended? Someone was pointing out that even the films are not really proper Star Trek, because it's all, like, action-based. And after hearing that, I'm kind of like, you got a point. I like the part where they solve other issues. Well, is that a Klingon bird of prey, or is it... It looks more like it's, This thing looks, I guess, my head's over it again, but it would be this tiny little one here. It looks like a Cylon vessel to me. Anyway, rule of cool is still a matter of taste. See, the thing is, we can do the rule of cool, but I can have control over that cool. Like, to a certain degree, I think Mongoose Traveller is a stronger candidate for doing stuff with, because there is an incongruency between the maps and the art, which makes me feel less restricted. The artists from, say, the 90s, in particular, your Rob Caswell's, so to speak. My favorite kind of style, but the ships are taken from different angles, you got a lot more detail. And that's where the incongruencies hurt the most. But often with the Mongoose stuff, you only see things from a single angle. And that makes things significantly easier to sort of wing it on. Like, for example, this tank. This is the angle that we had. It looked kind of, okay. But this thing, we could add all of this detail to the back that turns it into a much more interesting design, I feel, anyway. That's where we can find our creative freedom, and make it feel like this from the front looks quite boxy. That's the sort of imperial style that they were going for. But here we can kind of get wild. And I think we've done a good job. And this is just me speaking for myself. Between Alvin and I did the base based on the Mongoose art. And then he has done a lot of the detailing. I think we've gotten it to a level where it kind of feels like this makes sense now. The main additions that I put in was like some headlights. It's even got some brake lights, that sort of thing. It probably should have had some navigation lights on top of that, because it still is technically an aircraft more than a tank. Example, when you look at the Type GE Caswell versus Stead. What's the type? Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Type GE. Well, actually, what's the name of that ship again? We're talking about the. Wow, that is not at all what we were looking for. Let's see if we can identify quickly. We mean the system patrol boat thingy, right? The one with the detachable tanks. Oh, the Fiery. I love that thing. So yeah, this is his version. And yeah, I thought Rob Caswell was one of the best, and here's the Ian Stead version at the back, right? Is that what you're saying? Like, there was no detail at the back and Ian Stead has added it? Anyway, I'm not sure. Yeah, after a certain point, Star Trek movies went action instead of adventure. Well, I don't know. See, the only real Star Trek film that's Star Trek is possibly the motion picture. Because that, has the sort of problem. But even that, the stakes are much higher than a normal Star Trek episode would have been. Let's see. And different takes on the ship. Yeah, Ian's great. very down to earth fellow. I've found. I've only talked to him once or twice, but so there are some significant issues with travel. The other thing too is travel is a passion project. Yes, we've made money on it. I can also make more money doing my own stuff. So there's that balance. I don't want to stop doing it, but you know, it's not. It doesn't pay the bills enough that it could be our core concept. So I'm very grateful that we have so many wonderful friends and fans, I guess, that can keep the lights on here, because what we do is super niche. I hope that, considering how well Sleipnir has sold in the last year in particular, that people are going to be very excited for some more Expanse style ships that will go along very well if you ordered the 28mm miniatures with the updated role-playing game. Never cared for the Abrams Trek film. I mean, I still have like issues with my eyesight after seeing those films, just from all the lens flares in my cornea. I'm being very silly here. So obviously, guys, between now and next week, for those who celebrate, will be Christmas. So let's switch over to the close-up cam. Cheers to you guys, whether you celebrate it or not. Have a wonderful Christmas or holiday period. I hope you guys get some time to relax, rest, reflect, spend some time with friends or family, and I will be back in what we call mellandagar, the days between, or the middle days between Christmas and New Year's, for episode 52. We have to do it now. This would be like the one and only New Year's resolution I've ever actually fully done. So I really want to keep that up. So thank you for joining me today. Sorry it was a bit content light, but hey, what a great hang. It was lovely to look at the chat today, have a little hangout, and I'll have some beers for you guys. Alright guys, cheers and good day.